Hello and welcome into the newest episode of Pat's Latest. I'm your host, Mike Gambardella, and on today's episode, we take a deep dive into the wide receiver position for the New England Patriots, starting with their prized free agent addition, Stefon Diggs, and the issues that the rest of the position group could be facing here in 2025. Before we get into everything, make sure you go down and subscribe for the channel. Let us know what you think of the Patriots wide receiver room and if an addition needs to be made before the season kicks off in 2025. Make sure you give us a like if you like what you hear, and also go back and check out all of our old episodes after you finish today's. Starting off, we look at Stefon Diggs and the controversial video that has hit social media and tough timing during the Pats' voluntary off-season practices, as several members of the Patriots roster are in Foxborough and getting it going, with only a few not present, including Stefon Diggs, who was filmed on a yacht with girlfriend Cardi B, who he is dating and was seen at other high-profile events such as the New York Knicks game. Stefon Diggs is continuing to rehab from his off-season surgery and unfortunately not at practice, put in a tough spot where he's in a situation that you would rather not see him in. But again, this is at the same time where another prize free agent addition, cornerback Carlton Davis, was also filmed on Wednesday, and seen on jet skis on a personal vacation. He's voluntarily choosing not to be at the Patriots practices right now, the same as Stefon Diggs did. Again, the controversial video for Diggs shining a tough light on it and questions about what else is in the video, in addition to several females being with him and what he was holding or giving out to people. Again, we're not up for comment of what that is in the video. We can't say one way or the other. And again, it would be difficult for the Patriots or the NFL to discipline him in this instance because you can't prove what he had or what was going on. Mike Vrabel was questioned at the start of practice on Wednesday, and definitely dodged some of those questions by saying he's aware of the situation, that he has spoken with all of his players on the roster, whether they're here or not there, not necessarily saying or talking about his conversation with Stefon Diggs, but saying he would address that as he addresses all of his players, and also mentioned that you all need to make good decisions both on and off the field. I don't think this will impact Stefon Diggs' ability to have an impact for the Patriots. Again, he was also filmed on Wednesday getting out and running routes and training and practicing wherever he is. It just happens not to be in Foxborough. Again, this video took place over the weekend and just started surfacing more recently. And again, seeing other teammates who are on vacation themselves. Again, this is a voluntary program. The wrinkle that it adds is there could be something that you would not want to see a star player doing, and whether that's being on a boat party or acting inappropriately. Nothing that is going to potentially end him in hot water at this time, but it puts the microscope on it, and the wiggle room and room for error does not really exist anymore. And Stefon Diggs had some clouds around him in the free agent cycle and how he was going to join the new team. Unfortunately, this is not where you want to get off on the right foot. I don't expect Stefon Diggs to have further trouble, nor do I expect Mike Vrabel to allow things like this to continue to happen. Additionally, we look at the wide receiver position, and is there a problem with Pop Douglas? Several members around the Boston sports media landscape are starting to question whether Pop Douglas is actually the right fit for Josh McDaniels' offense. As I look at this depth chart and what Stefon Diggs should bring, again, this is a guy who's probably a little bit more comfortable in the slot. So could Pop Douglas kick outside, a spot where he's not as comfortable? That does start a problem, and takes away from a potential, wide receiver 2 opportunity if you're put out in a spot that you're less comfortable in. And if Stefon Diggs is having issues, is Pop Douglas ready to step into that wide receiver 1 role? I personally do not think he quite is ready for wide receiver one capabilities at this point in time, is better served as that wide receiver two. And again, we'll have to earn it because of how the depth of this position for the Pats kind of shakes out. Again, I think he has a leg up on just about everyone else not named Stefon Diggs. And I think Mac Hollins, who also is been or has been limited in practice as well, will be given an opportunity as that boundary wide receiver and will be more in rotation ahead of Douglas at this time before Kyle Williams, the rookie out of Washington State, is given a chance to really step up and produce and show what he's able to do for the New England Patriots. But again, Pop Douglas will need to hold off Hollins and Kyle Williams, and knowing that there is also five wide receivers that are barking at his heels as well. So, for the same way that Stefon Diggs is trying to make sure that he's able to be on the field, whether that be from an injury or controversies off the field, Pop Douglas will need to continue to produce and be a not quite a star, but a reliable factor for Drake May, knowing that he's got a guy who can get open, a guy that can operate within the scheme that Josh McDaniels is putting out there, and not a guy that is going to quote unquote go rogue at times or try and find his own way. We know that McDaniel's system is based upon timing and how important that can be. And that is what Pop Douglas will need to rely on in order to make sure that he stays on the field and becomes that potential wide receiver two for Drake May. As we look further down the position at that wide receiver 3 or 4, again, if it's Diggs 1, Douglas 2 at one spot or the other, and then Mac Hollins 3, Kyle Williams is barking to get into that one way or the other. So that's 4 wide receivers already as currently constructed. Whether position 5 or 6 and how that comes to fruition, there is going to be a very large competition. And looking at the first day of voluntary practices, individual drills did not go very well for either Javon Baker or Jalen Polk. They had several drops in a tougher individual drill where you're kind of sprinting past several larger tackling dummies and trying to track the ball as it comes across your face and needing to catch and really losing sight of the ball and using hand feel to be able to make catches. And they had back-to-back drops and several drops in that drill. I think social media probably made a bigger deal about that one drill, which is very difficult, I'm not going to lie. But as things got moving again, and with Diggs not being there, with Hollins not being as active, it was more of Polk and Bourne and Booty and Williams being more involved out there. And Baker kind of got his shot with the second level as well. And actually acquitted himself well. Javon Baker looked a lot better after that while getting into the team sessions. And again, this is day one of a very long process over the next month and a half to 2 months here. And all 4 of these wide receivers will have a chance to show out. And I would venture to say that there will be numerous days where it will say, Polk is absolutely the guy and he's shaken off a tough year one, or Javon Baker has completely reinvented himself and looks different, or Kendrick Bourne is finally over those knee injuries, or Kayshon Boutte is showing why he had potential wide receiver first round grades on him 3 years ago. There's the opportunity there. These 4 players will continue to fight and show out. Again, Kendrick Bourne probably is on the close to that bubble because of his higher salary and lack of production over the past few years. Polk and Baker get a little bit of a pass and bumped up because they are second year players, and day 2 and fourth round picks that should be given at least a little bit more time to show out. And Kayshon Boutte has already had those trade rumors attached to him. So again, a lot of things that can move. And additionally, we've just talked about 8 wide receivers in a team, and most NFL teams that only keep 6 wide receivers. The other one to keep an eye on is the undrafted free agent out of Eastern Washington, Efton Chisholm, who likely could be a kick or punt returner to start, play on special teams, and someone that will start to remind you of Wes Welker, of Julian Edelman, and start to do those things. And if he can quickly start to be in the same mix as the four guys listed below, suddenly he can have some opportunities to make an impact as well. The final caveat to the wide receiver position is, should the Patriots start looking outside of the team, and should they start looking at giving away some of their salary cap in order to do that? And if you can just look at potential 1 year deals or 1 2 year deals with a team option for the second, suddenly it doesn't make that big of an impact on your bottom line or what you're trying to do in the future. Now, especially if Stefon Diggs' issues continue, or if this proves to be a larger issue or sticking point for the Patriots, they absolutely could look to bring in somebody who can truly be a number one wide receiver option. And the two that could do that are former Chicago Bears wide receiver Keenan Allen and former Buffalo Bill Amari Cooper. Obviously, these guys have had several stops along the way in their careers and have been very high producers at times, but have taken a back seat in recent years, whether being age, injuries, or opportunities where it has not been the same for them. And that's why they are currently still free agents, because their agents clearly are holding out for the right opportunity to either maximize playing, money, or opportunity to win championships. The third one I will throw on there as well is Tyler Boyd, who had a long career with the Cincinnati Bengals, did go to the Titans last season, so could have another tie-in a little bit to Mike Vrabel. Obviously not there last season, but at least it has some of that same flavor and holdover for it. But a guy that could fit into more of that 4-5 in the pecking order for the New England Patriots, should they look to add some more veteran depth, depending on if Mike Vrabel and Elliott Wolf like what they see. Additionally, if we look at the consensus top 6 wide receivers who are still free agents, Keenan Allen and Amari Cooper are those top 2. I would say Tyler Boyd probably slides in at 6 just because of his age and not being a top 2 option the past few years. The other 3 who are still out there, Gabe Davis, Nelson Aguilar, and DJ Chark. For me right now, none of those guys would potentially make sense to bring in for the Patriots either now or in the next couple of weeks or so. And again, not where the money would be right for it, but not to say that if they couldn't find the right position or right contractual obligations to make those things work, that it could be far out of the realm of possibility, just not ones that I would like to see the Patriots pursue at this time. Again, that'll do it for our deep dive into the wide receiver position for the Patriots. Expect this to be a very fluid situation day in and day out, especially during the voluntary practices as players get up to speed and actually in Foxborough to practice. So make sure you keep it locked right here at Pat's Latest. Make sure you go down and subscribe for the channel so you can get those alerts when the new news breaks and we bring it to you right here. Make sure you get into the comments and let us know if Keenan Allen a free agent or if the answers are in-house right now for the Pats. Give us a like and go back and check out all of our old episodes. Again, we'll have it all for you right here on Pat's Latest. Fight on, Foxborough.